The absolute moment the AI bubble bursts, the minute it pops, there will be a catastrophic crash to the RV industry that will be so bad that every RV dealership, every RV manufacturer, by the end of 2026 will be selling inventory for 10 to 15 cents on the dollar. The used RV market will collapse on itself and will have open auctions, and banks will take just about anything just to sell off the inventory and give you less than 4% interest rates on those loans. It'll be pandemonium. At least that's what some of social media and the internet want you to believe. Welcome to HB RV Lifestyle, the podcast. I'm the host, John Livingston, aka the Honey Badger, here to give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business, as well as some other things. Now, I'm not here to refute there's an AI bubble or not. I tend to lean on the cautious side of things, okay? But what I'm here to discuss is what it really would take to have that kind of cataclysmic event happen. What domino of things? Because it isn't just going to be one thing. If we were to have an absolute price crash across the entire spectrum, there would have to be a domino of effects or domino of events that occur to cause it to happen. It's not going to be one. And it won't be an AI bubble. Now, I'm going to read this article real quick because it does have to do with this. Lower inflation needed before Fed will support rate cuts. Now, I'm not going to read it, but it basically states that the Fed is going to keep rates where they are for the near future. So I'll link it in the description box below if you'd like to read it. We have to first off say that the lenders control industry. Not just the RV industry, they control industry in total. Okay. Now, when it comes to the RV market and the RV industry, over 8.5 people out of 10 take out a traditional RV loan to make a purchase, whether they go and do it on their own or they do it through a dealership. Less than 1% of RV buyers pay absolute cash, meaning they got the money in the bank account, they saved it, and they're buying it. A lot of untraditional ways to get a loan: 401k loan, personal loan. I mean, there's tons of other things. I've seen people go get personal loans, say they're paying cash so they have the title. Now, however you buy an RV is up to you. Okay, that's your business. It's your business if you want to buy one or not. But those are kind of the numbers. Then on top of that, less than 1% of dealerships across the United States and Canada pay cash for their inventory. Most of it is put on what we call floor plan. Floor plan is an inventory loan from the bank to buy merchandise from the RV manufacturers. This works the same way in the car industry. It works the same way in the boating industry, power sports, dump trailers, cargo trailers, flatbed trailers, golf carts. The lenders control industry. Okay. So let's go back to 2008, 2009. 2008, 2009, there was multiple events that caused a worldwide economic downturn that was centered around the real estate market. Now, if you want more information on that, watch The Big Short, and there's tons of books out there on it. It's really cool. But the RV industry did not collapse on itself except for the manufacturers that went out of business. The manufacturers that went out of business, yeah, you could buy stuff for pennies on the dollar. Absolutely. Fleetwood, Monaco back in the day. I know Rev Group owns them now, but they're not the same company. Country Coach, God, Weekend Warrior. There were a ton of them that went out of business. And when they went out of business, there was an effect that caused dealerships to sell that inventory for pennies on the dollar. Now I'm going to get into that a little bit later in the video, because one of the events I'm going to talk about a little bit later actually involves that. Then you look at the dot-com bubble. The dot-com bubble delayed the RV market from taking off, and then 9/11 did the same thing. 9/11 was a cataclysmic event to our nation's history and our nation itself that slowed down the RV market for about a month or two. Okay. So far in the RV industry's history, there has not been enough events to cataclysmically destroy pricing at every manufacturer, in every niche, and every product, and every type. Okay. So what combination of events would need to occur? Well, the AI bubble would have to cause other events to happen. It would have to cause the housing crisis that occurred in 2008, 2009. There would have to be a domino that involves the housing market going to absolute crap in 2008, 2009. It would have to also get to a point where that same event caused more events where lending institutions stopped letting companies borrow money to have inventory, where you had to have basically 100% cash reserve to buy inventory. You would also have to basically only sell to people who have cash, because the lending institutions would no longer borrow on RVs. So it'd have to be cash deals across the board. This is in conjunction, guys, not one event. And it'd have to be like a domino. Like, have you ever seen V for Vendetta, where he flicks the dominoes and they all come out and make this beautiful V, right? The V for Vendetta's logo. It would have to be just so bad that the entire world would freeze. Now, that being said, let's say it got to the point where only one of those events happened. Let's say, just as hypothetically, that the lenders stopped giving retail loans for RVs, that you could only pay cash. Well, you see a lot of companies go out of business. And those manufacturers that went out of business, you could buy for pennies on the dollar. Now, that being said, as soon as that cycle was over and there were only a select amount of manufacturers, the price would get jacked through the roof, because now we're talking about 0.05% of the total population of the United States of America that can pay cash for an RV. So now your lifestyle shrank, and now you have less manufacturers building less, which means the prices will go through the roof, because you have to make money in order to stay in business. So like I said, it has to be a cataclysmic set of events. So if we go back to what happened in 2008, 2009, the reason why there was a collapse in pricing for stuff that went out of business was because those loans were called in. The floor plan, or inventory loans were called in by the banks. Like, nope, 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 nope. Our agreement with the RV manufacturers is you guys are 100% responsible for the inventory. Give me my money. We're not responsible. You are. We gave you the loan. Now you got to pay us back everything now because Monaco went out of business. Country Coach went out of business. So you had, people wonder, well, how come dealerships went out of business so quickly in 08, 09? Because the banks called in all the inventory loans. That probably killed half the folks that went out of business because they didn't have the cash. So they went belly up. Everything got liquefied. They lost their homes. They lost their cars. They lost their lifestyle, and poof, they're gone. The guys that were able to put together the cash and pay off the bank, they were like, we have no money left. Sell that shit fast. Sell it so quick. Wait, I paid 150 grand for that motor home? Okay, and you got an offer of 70? Take it. We need the cash to pay our bills. So that's where that all came from. So how did Keystone survive? Well, Keystone didn't lower its prices on Cougar and Montana. They created new brands or offshoots of existing brands and created a cheaper product to bring to market to be able to stimulate manufacturing and stimulate growth in the RV industry. Forest River, Coachman, Cruiser RV, Heartland RV, Winnebago. They all did the same thing. Because lending institutions want the retail loans to depreciate at a certain rate. Yes, they depreciate quick. Cars depreciate quick. They all depreciate quick. They're depreciating assets. But at the end of the day, there's an acceptable percentage by the bank, by the lending institution, depending on what they can leverage versus what they're making in return, depending on how much they can insure and how much they think they can get in an auction. There's all mathematics and everything to it. Now, I'm not going to get into all that math because I'll bore you guys half to death, and most of you have already clicked off anyway. Okay. So that being said, we need to look at the fact that lending institutions control the RV industry and whether the RV industry will collapse or not. So why are people saying this? They're saying it because it pays a lot of money and a lot of people are dreaming that this will come true. Instead of accepting the fact that we all have a budget and we all have an affordability, we'd rather scream and yell that quality is crap. Oh, I'd never buy that Arctic Fox truck camper for 50 grand. I mean, they're piles of crap. I mean, realistically, I can only afford a $5,000 truck camper, so I'll call it junk and say that's why I can't buy it. I'm not afraid to say that I'm broke. I'm not afraid to say, hey, and I've said it before, I'd rather go buy an Alliance Valor that may have a rear cap issue and a bathroom water leak problem than own my Weekend Warrior. Because I know that Valor is way better built and way better quality, and the percentages of something happening catastrophic on that fifth wheel, I take it any day, but I can't afford an Alliance Valor. Fact of life. We all want to be bigger than what our life is. It's a human condition to want to grow and want to become more than what we are. We all have the dream of being out on a beautiful yacht with surrounded, men have this, probably some women too, but we have this fantasy of being out in the middle of the ocean on a yacht surrounded by beautiful women or surrounded by our family. And, we purchased it in cash and no worries in the world. And don't have to worry about maintenance. Don't have to worry about fuel and don't have to worry about, anything. We all have that fantasy. We all have the fantasy of owning the nice fish boat and going trout fishing. But there are some lessons in life that sometimes we don't have to have the most luxurious thing and the newest, shiniest apple. Then maybe have something that's well used, but within our budget, we can still have the same good time. The biggest problem that I see, and this is a human thing, is we forget that we have 75 years if we're lucky. 75 summers, 75 falls, 75 springs, 75 winters. That's if we're lucky. How many of those are going to be good years? We can't take this with us. Fact of life. Can't take it with us. So why are we waiting for this miracle crash to go enjoy the lifestyle? Because we don't want to feel like we've been ripped off? Because we don't want a company to make money? Because we don't want employees to make money? We don't want people to feed their families? No, what it really is, at the bottom line is none of that. We just don't want to feel like we've been taken advantage of. And sometimes we feel like it's unfair that Joe Blow can afford a $200,000 mobile suites and I can only afford a $1,000 travel trailer. People feel like that's unfair. But let me tell you, when you're sitting in the middle of a campground at a place like Kachuma Lake or Yosemite or any of the national parks or campgrounds in the middle of Montana, we get the equal view and the equal experience. We're equals out in the RV lifestyle. Because you don't have to pay to have that view, to have that experience. You don't have to pay 200 grand to do that. Fact of life. You know, I think that's what we miss out on. There used to be a saying that some of the poorest people in the world are the happiest. Not all, obviously, but some of the poorest people in the world are the happiest. That's a saying. Why? Because they don't care if they can afford a $500,000 yacht. They'd be happy being out in a boat, enjoying a sunset and fishing with their kids. I think sometimes we just get overblown with this idea that all this negativity in the world that's being thrown everywhere on social media is our life. And people don't realize, or maybe they do and they just don't care, but people do this for attention and money. You know, I'm going to give you a great example coming up here next week. Next week, I'm going to be sitting down in front of my computer and playing some of the most ridiculous AI videos about the RV market crashing and just show you how ridiculous it is and how stupid it is. But it won't stop. Because as long as we feed it and feed that beast, it'll never be satisfied. Until next time, remember that RV always stands for toolkit and sense of humor.